So here we had a hair salon. We had a lot of carpet down, carpet glue, fractures in the floor and whatnot. In the back, it was really damaged. We had a big slope issue. It was about 3 inches and 8 feet to our door, but we had a bunch of cutouts where patched concrete where they'd done some sewer repair and whatnot. So it was just a pretty chopped up slab back there. So to make it quicker, easier, simpler, and really make it look nicer, we ended up going with a flake floor. And I do not like vinyl chip flake, so we use actually real mica flakes here at Diamond Coat. So we put a real mica flake down. It's super glitter. We did a pure like chrome glitter mica flake in here. So it's really nice. We run a scraper blade over the top as you just saw. And then Ami went ahead and sanded with our 17-inch buffer with blue pads on it. And then we're gonna move in. We're taking a DA, a hand sander, and we're vacuum sanding around our edges just to make sure we don't have any flake bonded heavier on our edges than we do on our floor, just getting everything nice and smooth. And we are going to go ahead and apply a polyaspartic top coat to this. It's going to be a pretty heavy coat because we want this to be able to be cleaned with a Swiffer. Super smooth. It's a hair salon. Most likely it's going to absorb into some of the flake though. And it's really going to seal it a ton, but you're going to have a few little flakes sticking out the top. So we usually do one more pass with a sander, get that really smooth, but now it's sealed, and we'll do another polyaspartic on top. And now you have a floor that, while it looks like a nice flake floor, you can have super easy to clean, very smooth, and it really hides a lot of damage because of the reflectivity of the individual flakes. So I'm going to give my measurement here. I'm always going to take my measurement. Now that's an inside corner, so that's 40 3/4, and that is rounded down because it's an inside corner. I always round it down to my closest 16th. And then I always give 2 cut marks. And my first one, I'm just going to do S for straight. And then I'm going to say I for inside on my right corner. So I know my right cut there is an inside cut. So I'm going to be doing a 45 bevel. Now, the same as my next one here, I'm going to do an I will be my left side of my cut, and an I will be my other side of my cut, and it'll come right up here. Now, these are pretty messy little bump outs here, so we're going to kind of have to play around and guess with it, and probably a lot of work with caulking, so this isn't going to be exactly the Taj Mahal we're building here. So I'm going to go about 70 3/4 on this. 70 3/4, and both inside measurements. I do like how can I back up to my saw, make a little less dust on the job. Sure, some of you trim guys out there can kind of correct me and show me some faster practices. But I do think it's important to understand at least the basics of how to do baseboard trim if this is something you plan on doing floors for your career. gonna be we were going back over our wall that we did our little base layer on yesterday. Yesterday we did a really thin skim coat. I believe we poured 3 quarts of our wall resin, the non-sag epoxy that we sell here. Filled in all, this was a really rough tile wall that had some, literally had like 1/4 inch uneven kickers here on the tile that we ground off. But we're gonna see if we can make this look like white marble. And instead of tearing this wall off and putting backer board on and everything is very sound and stable. Nothing's actually like delaminating or falling off. So we're just gonna coat over it with our epoxy, see how smooth we can get it, and have a nice white marble wall, way cheaper and faster, less invasive. We can get this salon up and running in like hours of work versus several days. So remember to always get the product out of the bucket. This still has a pot life, just like all epoxy. If you just leave it in a big pile, it's gonna keep warming up. So what I usually do is I'll take my stick and just take my time, get it kind of evenly dispersed around my wall where I think I'm gonna need it. You can leave a little bit in the bottom if it's not a big old pile. It might last you a little while, but remember, working all around all your plumbing and your edges first. It's all about those edges. Dear Mommy, best workers in the world. Today we have a floor that, while we thought it would be a cool accent in the back, we covered some really badly damaged concrete. The customer came in, and I agree with her. We think we want it to be a black, smooth floor. It is a hair salon. We want to be able to Swiffer this floor super easy when it's done. We don't want to be struggling to clean. And while these flake floors are really cool at hiding damage and look awesome in a garage, I don't think it's just quite up to par with the rest of her salon. So we're going to go ahead today and we're pouring back here a different floor, kind of matching a little more what we did up front. So thanks for being patient. Make sure, remember, if you subscribe, you get quite a bit of exclusive content right now, and we've been working a lot on those videos for you guys. And we're doing some really neat stuff, going over some really detailed tool setup, job bidding, measurements, and stuff like that, and a lot of the more technical side of what we do here. So thank you guys so much for your time. I'm always gonna start out with all my edges first too, like cutting in, edges, corners, that's king. Even on prep, like everything you do, super easy to make the middle of a floor look really clean, you know, and then everybody always skips the edges. See how I can cut in much, if I'm thoughtful, I'm not being as slow as I should, but you should be able to cut in with a T-bar more accurately than if you ever taped. I don't like to be on spikes if I don't have to be. Once you're on spikes, you're a lot less mobile. Yeah, I like to use do as much of this just by hand and eye as possible. We don't usually spray paints, but that's what she likes, so she wants it, that's what she gets. So basically, guys, this is just 99 alcohol, so it leaves no residue. There's no oil in this that gets left on the floor or anything like that, if that makes sense. So it's a very pure way to pop air bubbles, and it kind of, having that liquid on top, really softens the surface tension of the epoxy and lets it like relax and release air and flow and level. And this is the way, if you spray this kind of heavy, this is how you'll absolutely get the flattest, smoothest, bubble-free floor. So usually you want to give it a pretty good 100% coating. And I don't want, now that I sprayed, if it's like drying over there, I don't want a big droplet.
Because I see how it kind of just floats on under.
Yeah, be really careful never to drag your spikes. Always try to really lift them up. The same as the same thing as if you bust off a piece of, you know, epoxy stuck on your spike, it'll leave debris. Yeah. You also can drag them and it'll curl it'll peel little pieces of epoxy up into your floor. So just walking really like thoughtfully, deliberate, not dragging your feet.
Okay.
Really helpful. Dude, actually, that is definitely a fly.
Wow.
That is most definitely a fly.
They are not playing around today.
That's the most I think I've had in a little square. Is there a fly paper over my head or something? I just get 4 or 5 in one little. Why is there so many flies? Why is there so many flies? I even turned my underwear inside out, so I know they're not smelling that. I told my kids that, I'm like, these underwear only have 3 more sides to turn them to, and they're always like, what? Don't be doing that. A lot of times we'll pour epoxy with color in it too.
Okay.
That's actually a little easier to get a cool color than spray paint. But sometimes a customer just wants an exact type of look, and this is just how we'll do it. A little tiny foam roller is probably the easiest for this, to really Swiffer this stuff in. I really do try to get my patterning all the way to my wall. I don't want to see a little border around it if I don't have to, you know. I see a lot of people won't go all the way to their walls. They're always trying to leave a little void, you know, so they don't touch it, and that just looks real fake when you get done. You have all these little bare spots right up against the wall. Every time I'm pumping the sprayer, sweating my ass off, trying not to drip a big sweat blob in the epoxy. Oh man, this will like really level this out, and it's gonna be, it'll let that color flow back together so much different than what it was now. And
Welcome, I'm Rosa. I'm the owner to the Amante Salon. I would love to show you guys around. Here is our stations. We do offer a variety of services. This is where all the magic happens. This is our new epoxy marble flooring. It adds just that touch of elegance that we were looking for our new salon. Over here we offer brow shaping and facial waxing services. This is where we offer all of our deep conditioning treatments, our hot towel treatments, and all of the shampooing needs. We offer a variety of services. We do men's cuts, women's cuts, all of the new trendy hairstyle haircuts and color. Our phone number here is 970-314-9014. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us by searching up the Amante Salon and Spa. We are located in the Peachtree Shopping Plaza next to Mesa Fitness. Our address is 3225 I-70 Business Loop, Unit B4 in Clifton. And thank you so much for allowing me to show you around. We look forward to seeing you.